Hello there, right here we got a brand new snapshot. This is 1.16 pre-release 6. Did quite a few different bug fixes in this one. Also did some additions added to the game. And today guys, we will be reviewing the snapshot, talking about how these changes can affect your gameplay. If you guys haven't already, make sure to go ahead and subscribe, as less than 30% of you guys are actually subscribed. First change that they did is they tweaked the color of both crimson as well as warped materials and what color they would show up on a map. Next change that they did is they added the word search here. So people know you can click on this thing and type in words to search for different things. They also made a tweak to the game mode switcher, which is pressing F3 and then tapping F4. And the game mode will switch default to creative for any game mode besides creative. All in all, this whole game mode switcher thing is very cumbersome, as you're already pressing 2 buttons to switch between 4 modes, and you're also got the F3 plus N button, which switches between any mode and spectator. And between the two of them, you're pushing 3 different buttons, and there's only 4 different game modes, so you could actually just select 4 different keys for 4 different game modes. And they should at least give you an option to add that into your controls, even if it's not by default. That way people could just push different keys on their keyboard to switch to different game modes without having to do this cumbersome switching. One thing you guys did point out is when these piglins convert into zombified piglins, they don't actually use their crossbow, even though they're holding it as a weapon. If I go ahead and go into survival and I punch one of these guys, you see he just hits me with his hands rather than actually using the crossbow. It seems like they're still mad at you even though you're in creative mode. I also added a new trigger for advancement. It's called player interacted with entity. This includes the item, which matches the item which is in the player's hand during the interaction. And there's also entity, which matches the entity which is being interacted with. This allows a more precise detection of player and entities being triggered for different advancements. The first big change they did is to these not quite full blocks like the soul sand, the grass block, as well as farmland. They made a change in last version where they actually want mobs to suffocate if they're inside of these blocks, which I thought was an unusual change, but it's cool to have unique blocks. If we play villagers underneath this, you can see that they were suffocating in the last version, but now they're no longer suffocating once again. So they kind of reverted what they were trying to do, but they did fix it so that these blocks will no longer try to shove you off if you're standing on them. Now this is kind of strange because this actually happened in the past before where there was a bug where the blocks were trying to shove you off, and I guess it was them trying to make it solid so that mobs could suffocate on it. And then they tried it again and they couldn't get to work, so then they reverted it back once again. You can see as soon as the farmland turns into a solid block, then they will suffocate. So I don't know if they're going to still try to make these suffocate mobs again. It would be kind of a unique block because they're actually less than a full block, which most blocks are like that, don't suffocate when you're inside of them. There was a chance that one of these villages buildings that are from the plains would actually be generating inside of the taiga biomes instead of the taiga variation, and they caught that problem and fixed it. Now there was a problem in the last snapshot. They were doing some changes to zombie villagers that generate in different structures. There's a small chance that a village can be a zombified village, meaning instead of villagers, there is zombie villagers in it. But the problem was that these guys did not have that persistence required, meaning that they would despawn probably before the player even got up to the village to see them. Now they should once again have that persistence required tag, allowing them to stick around even if the player is quite far away. They fixed a visual bug to do with the shields, and the glitter wasn't actually being applied correctly. I gotta say the enchanted shields look really cool. This is actually a raid banner that turned into a shield in an older version. This is what it looks like. Ravagers are kind of like iron golems. They have knockback resistance. Even if you have a sword that had knockback on it, you shouldn't be able to knock them backwards, but it was actually possible to knock them quite far using the sword, but now they reverted it so that you can no longer do that. They made a change to the way you can rebind your keys. If we go into our controls over here, it's now possible to rebind these keys to extra mouse buttons that you have on your mouse. And that way you could push a button on your mouse and it will move to a slot. So I could go ahead and rebind my mouse to like 8. And then if I want to move something from my inventory into the 8 slot, if I press the 8 on my mouse, you see it moves it directly into it. Before it wasn't able to do this with a mouse rebound key. It only pay attention to the actual key numbers. And there is other bugs like this where you get inside of different containers and all of a sudden the switching of items don't work the same. They also did a fix to do with offhand swapping if you use extra mouse buttons to switch. There seems to be a bug where you can't even make nether portals now. So if I try to place a nether portal right here in this block, I do this command every single time and I click it, there's no nether portal here. It instantly vanishes. I don't know if it's even inside, I just don't think it ever was placed there. This probably has to do with the new change that they made, which is breaking larger than normal possible nether portals makes the game crash. So they probably tried to fix that, but instead they actually broke it so you can't even make little nether portals. It just says, could not set the block. You guys will have to do another portal the old way. They made a change to piglins, and now they can actually spawn in with enchanted gear. So we got one over here with enchanted boots. Okay, got the enchanted sword. Look really amazing. So they're gonna be just like kind of zombies in the overworld. You can find different types of enchantments. It'll be the same type of level. I think it's up to level 22 enchantments can be on these. It's also possible probably to find one with enchanted crossbow. They also made a change so that baby piglins will actually run away from wither skeletons. You can see the baby ran away, but the adults will actually come after him and kill him. Now they made another change so that piglins are no longer afraid of extinguished soul campfires. So they're still afraid of them if they are lit, but if you extinguish them, like with a shovel, then they're no longer. Now there was a problem if a piglin would pick up a shield and you would give him a gold ingot, he would actually lose his shield and it would completely be destroyed. But now you can see he actually just drops it so he can pick up the gold. If I give this guy gold, you can see he drops the shield, and now this guy picked it up, and yeah, you can get the shield back because now they're using their offhand to actually hold the gold. I made a change to the way commands autocomplete, so if I set block something right here, and I do the word stone, you can see now it's actually not alphabetized, where normal stone's at the top, and as you go down, it's all different types of stone, but they're alphabetized, so you can easily find what you're looking for. Now before, if I would type stone like this, and before it would jump all the way down to cracked stone. I'm really glad they fixed that because it can be really annoying when trying to find something with the autocomplete. The Oh Shiny advancement wasn't actually completable if you would right click gold onto them versus dropping it, and now it is. Now F3N is a very useful tool for switching game modes. Every time you leave the game and come back in, using it to switch would automatically put you back into survival. Now this shouldn't occur. They addressed a problem to do with corruption in super flat worlds that were trying to get converted. They added it so that you can go back and play large biomes as well as amplified biomes once again. There was a few cases where the piglins, hoglins, and zoglins, and also striders were making too many noises and actually producing the same noise multiple times. It was quite annoying, and they actually fixed it. Now, if a gold helmet had Curse of Binding, it's possible for piglins to actually get rid of this type of helmet, despite it having that enchantment, which shouldn't allow them to get rid of it. This was done by giving them a different gold helmet, but now they have removed it, so they won't be able to get rid of it until they actually die. Now they actually fixed a bug that I reported, which was lava doesn't actually move entities like it was supposed to in this version. If you would drop directly down into it, it wouldn't move you. It only start moving you if you try to make any movement in the lava. This was the same for mobs as well. Now if mobs are put directly into it, they should get pushed a little bit by it. If that is the case. Also with players, if you hop into it, you can see you also get moved by it. Not very fast, but it actually works now. And we were using this in that video where we're trying to see what is the slowest way to move in Minecraft. Now structure blocks had this problem where if you had a dot and you loaded it as a structure and then you paste it in again, it would turn into a cross, which is very problematic as redstone devices because it acts differently. Now there is still a major bug in structure blocks which has to do with water being beside something that is waterlogged. You place in water there and something that can be waterlogged here, and go ahead and save this. And then if we take that same structure block and we try to load it up, you see that the fence automatically gets waterlogged when it shouldn't. And I really wish it would fix this bug because every time you load a structure that has water in it, it just makes other stuff waterlogged. Now there is a bug if you place chain into downwards flowing water, like right here, it would actually turn it into a source block. A chain can be waterlogged, so you can put it like here, but notice how the bottom one is air and the top one is water. Now there was a problem if iron golems could see a target but they couldn't actually reach it. It was creating a lot of lag. Now that's no longer the case. When lecterns were placed down and then broke again, they wouldn't actually stack with other lecterns. Now they fixed it. Now we're still able to place in these floating end portals, just not the nether ones it seems. It's probably a bug. Hopefully they fix it. Now they fixed a bug where it's possible to take damage from the fire, but when you're taking that damage, you wouldn't actually be able to take damage from the explosion from the crystal. This mostly has to do with when the player takes damage, he really can't take damage again until after a short period of time. With the changes, it'll be interesting to see if the player actually negates other types of damage. Now you guys might notice that sometimes you have trouble actually getting teleported by gateway portals when throwing an ender pearl through. And they said they fixed this bug, so hopefully we don't have that problem more. Now there is still a cooldown period for the actual portal, so it's about once a second. So if you throw a whole bunch of items through, they can't all go through at the same time. They have to take turns. So they kind of sit there until it's their turn to teleport, and then they will be able to be transported to the other side. I did fix quite a few bugs, and the snapshot also added in some features, but like I said, we did notice some more bugs that have been added just since this snapshot, or that have been in the game since 1.16. So So hopefully they actually address these problems, especially with the Nether portal if you can't even make yourself a single Nether portal. Remember guys, also report any bugs you see to the bug report page, as well as tell me about it down in the comments so I can talk about them in the next video. Don't forget to share this video with your favorite Minecrafters so they can learn about all the cool changes coming to 1.16, as well as leave a like on the video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!